Pictures like this fill the pages of Vern Albrecht's fishing scrapbook. Big carp, weight 22 pounds, shot with bow and arrow this spring on Dell's Pond in Eau Claire. You might say Albrecht is a throwback to ancient times when men and women hunted game exclusively with clubs, spears, and bows and arrows. While his equipment is modern, Albrecht's methods aren't all that different from the first bow hunters. It still takes Pictures like this fill the pages of Vern Albrecht's fishing scrapbook. Big carp, weight 22 pounds, shot with bow and arrow this spring on Dell's Pond in Eau Claire. You might say Albrecht is a throwback to ancient times when men and women hunted game exclusively with clubs, spears, and bows and arrows. While as it is modern, Albrecht's methods aren't all that different from the first bow hunters. It still takes skill, patience, devotion, and an intimate knowledge of the habits and habitat of the game you're after. All qualities Albrecht has fine-tuned over 40 years of bow fishing, and now that he's retired, Albrecht spends many of his days shooting carp. It starts in the spring when carp run into the shallows to spawn and continues through summer and fall. He'll fish alone or with family members and friends, most of whom belong to the archery fraternity in the Eau Claire, Chippewa Falls area. Their numbers are small, but they're all bow fishing fanatics.
Why did you start bow fishing?
Well, as soon as regular fishing gets done, the summer gets too long and carp spawn, and it's a lot of fun.
You've been doing this for 40 years?
Yes.
What have you learned about the carp over those years?
I learned you can't, you don't know what they're going to do, that's for sure.
They're pretty smart fish?
They're very smart. I'd say they're as smart as a deer.
What makes you think so?
You can't get close to them. When they're spawning, then you can, but right like now, you've got to be very cautious. Even electric motor you can't come up on them with.
During hot summer days, it's a game of stalking the carp, looking for them while they're sucking the water surface or cruising in the shallows. Albrecht primarily fishes Dell's Pond on the Chippewa River. He uses a compound bow equipped with a reel of heavy Dacron line and a fiberglass arrow. The line peels off the reel when the arrow is released. The barbed arrow can embed in the fish's flesh, or in some cases, it can pass right through.
During spawning, then you just shoot carp. I mean, they're all over. They'd just be splashing all over the place. Males run the females right up the bank and squeeze the spawn out of them, and then you can sit there and shoot them. Now you pretty have to hunt them, and you find them in brush on banks. Like when the water goes down, they go back out to deeper water. See, in Dell's Pond, that's the bad thing, is it gets high and low. One day it's 2 foot higher than it is probably today.
What's ideal conditions for this type of fishing?
Calm, real calm, and or even a little breeze, but sun. Sun is probably your big thing.
The sun brings the fish in.
To the surface, yeah.
When you've got a fish on, what's the technique for landing it?
Well, we follow him with the electric motor, let him get a little tired, and then bring him up. If there's 2 of us in the boat, we shoot him again. If I'm alone in the boat, I usually take 2 bows, and then I shoot him again. When I got him up, I bring the fish in, step on a line with the foot, and shoot another arrow in, because as long as you don't go after them with a net, they don't get too wild. Big ones, you might lose a few by not getting deep enough penetration, but smaller ones you get more every.
There are about 170,000 licensed bow hunters in Wisconsin. How many fish this way?
Not many. I would say probably Eau Claire, there's probably 25.
Why don't more people get involved in it?
I don't know. It's a lot of work, takes a lot of time, and but there's a lot of shooting too. I mean, I can't understand why. I think a lot of people don't know that they can shoot that much. Got him. Got him. Here he comes. Right in by the bill. Yes. It's a nice one, ain't it? You bet.
Albrecht's son Terry also shoots carp.
But out of any fishing that I've done, I like this a lot better. There seems to be usually more action. It's good for accuracy and target shooting, I know that. I aim about 2 or 3 inches below because the sight is set for a certain distance, and then you have to judge the water depth.
Are you aiming for any particular place on the carp?
No, not really. I'm aiming right at the middle. That's usually the biggest spot, or up towards the head.
How large of a target do you have to shoot at?
I'd say 5 or 6 inches high and 8, 9 inches long.
How much does it cost to get started? You're talking about a compound bow, maybe $100, $150. What about the rest of the equipment?
The reel is probably about $15, 15 to 25, depending on which one you'd get. And fish arrow, without the tip, is probably $2.50, $3. And stingery head, which is probably your best head, they're probably $3.50, $4. These heads are made so they'll screw open, but we smash them so that they won't screw off when we get in a big fish. In your littler fish, that won't happen, but a big one, it will. And so these are stingery heads, and they'll turn backwards and let them off, because if the fish spins, he's gone.
Many area waters, especially flowages on the Chippewa and Eau Claire rivers, hold tons of carp. And Albrecht says other fishers who despise carp because they compete with game fish for habitat are quick to pat him on the back.
Full of boat landing, you got the whole thing full. Boy, I'm glad to see somebody out there doing that about getting them carp out of there.
Albrecht says a good archer should be able to go out just about any day and get 1 or 2 carp. He's taken as many as 500 pounds of carp from Dell's Pond in a single day. A fish this size provides plenty of fight when hooked, but it doesn't end here. Albrecht tells us the next step.
Smoke him. He'll be able to eat him in about 4 days.
And we'll find out how that's done right after these messages.
Wait a second.